how do you see this new AI era?
It's a beast. There's only two types of companies in this world, Morgan. Those who are great at AI and everybody else. If you don't know AI, you are going to fail. Period, end of story. Whether you are an employee, you're going to have to understand it, how it impacts your job or how you can use it to be better at your job. Same, if you're a student, the same thing. And if you're a CEO, you can't just say, okay, I'm going to get my tech guys to understand it and educate me on it. You have to understand it because it will have significant impact on every single thing that you do. There's no.
So that was Mark Cuban earlier in the week on CNBC. And while I don't always agree with everything Mark Cuban says and does, I think in this particular case, as it relates to where we stand today with AI, Mark Cuban is absolutely spot on.
You're listening to the Backwards Hat CMO podcast with Dave Daba, presented by Stealth.ltd.
So I think at this point, I think it's safe to say that there are actually like a million AI startups in the marketplace today. I mean, things have gotten so out of control that I think the AI is actually creating AI startups. That being said, I think it is important to remember that a lot of the big businesses, and I'm talking about, the Fortune 500 companies, actually embraced automation quite a long time ago. And in fact, it's really only been recent, really over the last 2 years since the Chat GPT revolution hit the consumer market, that it has become clear and apparent to everybody that AI is absolutely here to stay. Now, if you're a marketer, you've probably been working with automation tools for well over 10 years at this point. The automation tools you've been using certainly were designed to help, quite frankly, do the one thing we're all actually looking for. We're all actually out there right now looking for things that will save us some time so we can watch the latest show that came out on Netflix. Though I cannot recommend the new Adam Sandler movie, Spaceman. Absolutely terrible was that movie. That being said, when you think about how AI is actually going to be utilized going forward by marketers in today's sort of high-paced world, it is pretty easy to understand. Now, I went ahead this morning and I asked ChatGPT a question. I said, how should marketers be using AI? Now, I've asked ChatGPT this question in the past and received a slightly different answer. And I will say the answer that I received this time was considerably more refined than the answer I received just over 12 months ago. Basically, without getting into all of the details, I'll just rattle off some of the key ingredients that ChatGPT says how marketers should actually be using AI. Now, the first is obvious, which is customer insights. The second is even more obvious, which is personalization. Now, let me ask you this question. How long has it been since you've actually been receiving emails that were actually personalized? Look, I made my way up to the Silicon Valley, as I like to call it, back in May of 2000. And I can tell you that the first company I worked for was a company called Email Labs. One of the first things we worked on was automating personalization inside emails. We weren't the first to do it, and we certainly weren't the last to do it. Personalization is an absolute no-brainer. What AI basically does is it actually makes it faster to actually set up personalization in your marketing programs. Content creation is also a no-brainer. Optimization, of course, customer service is a very interesting thing. Now, I don't know about you, but if I actually jump onto a bot, and I know it's an AI bot, I know that there's probably only so much that AI bot's actually going to be able to do for me. And I feel personally more comfortable actually getting somebody on the phone. Trying to get somebody on the phone can be challenging, as you all know. Now, from an optimization or from a customer service optimization standpoint, what's about to hit the market is the Dave DeBaugh avatar. No, not actually me, but what will hit the market very shortly is completely automated, if you will, avatars that are human-like in nature and actually speak human-like in nature and feel almost as real as you and I do. That is literally right around the corner. You will see that actually pop up this year if you haven't already seen it. Now, it will still be pretty obvious that you're talking to a non-human, but give it 24 to 36 months, and that obviousness, as I make up words, that used to exist when you were talking to one of these human avatar customer service reps is going to go away as those avatars become smarter and smarter over time. It is right around the corner. Predictive analytics, image and video recognition are the two last things that ChatGPT told me this morning on Saturday, March 9th of the year 2024. Look, ultimately, as we sort of move into this future, I think this is all exciting stuff. I think the ability to actually embrace AI and actually use AI in a way that is actually going to make companies more efficient and make the consumer market happier is really what we're all about at this point, especially when I start talking about embracing AI. This idea that AI is going to take away jobs is certainly a real one. This idea that automation, which was started to really hit the marketplace 20 plus years ago, was going to take away jobs was absolutely true. Just look at the proof. Now, as we move forward into this next 10 to 20 years, it's certainly not a good thing that jobs are going to be replaced, but oftentimes what happens when those jobs get replaced, those people who lose those jobs end up gaining different skills that will help them out. AI can't do everything. As big a fan as I am of using automation for ABM style campaigns, I know that at the end of the day, nothing is as valuable as a BD person with an outstanding, I will use an old term here, an outstanding black book. Somebody who knows somebody else in a marketplace, especially in the B2B sort of enterprise sales scenario. All right, that is it for today's Backwards Hat CMO podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in. As always, I am Dave DeBaugh, wishing you all a tremendous rest of your business week.
You've been listening to the Backwards Hat CMO podcast with Dave Daba, presented by Stealth.ltd.